What's the deal, my people? You know what it is, Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you, another one. And this one is Game of Thrones book theories. Yes, we are talking about Game of Thrones books, series. We are going through them all. Now, I'm going to be going through this every Wednesday. We're going to go through as many of these theories as we possibly can. And today is specifically tinfoil theories. But we will not just be talking about tinfoil theories. We'll be talking about regular theories and theories that people, believe in, and some of them, because I'm not here, don't get me wrong, there will be a lot of theories that I cover that maybe someone that you know on Reddit made, or maybe someone you know on YouTube made, or maybe somebody you just know just made it. So I'll be covering them all, cover all these theories. I am not, in no way, any theory that I'm covering, am I here to hate on it? Am I here to at all, or make fun of it, or make fun of the person? Try to somehow say that someone is not intelligent for coming up with this, because this is all in good fun. All right, I do not believe that we can base intelligence on who can memorize a fictional history. Like, that doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? That doesn't work for me. So if there's any theories that you want to see me cover, and maybe some of these theories, let's put the Don on here real quick, and maybe some of these theories that you're talking about that you may want me to cover, maybe they'll take the whole show to cover one theory. I'm willing to cover the one theory in the whole show if that's what you want. I'm willing to do that. You know what I mean? I'm willing to, if it's that good of a theory, then we have to go. And I'm willing to give these theories the whole, shebang. Go through them all step by step and everything else and get these things popping. Now, I am definitely willing to do that. Definitely willing to try to figure out exactly what it is. And I'll tell you at the end if I believe it or don't believe it. And this is the reason why. And that's how we're going to break it down. And we're going to keep doing this. We're going to be every Wednesday doing this at the same time right now. So make sure you subscribe and click that bell so you can be notified, just in case you forget that's what's going on. That's what we're going to be doing and everything else. We're going to be here. I promise y'all I'll be here. We're going to be here. So let's say what up to certain people in the chat before we get into one of our first theories here. Let's say what's up to Joanne Evans up in the building, rocking with us right now. OTDA holding down the Gizat for the Dizon right now. You know what I mean? Rocking with us right now. Jalen H is in the building. Big E is in the building. Kamisa Breland is in the building. And I seen Breland. I just thought of Mark Breland for some reason. Just popped in my head. Kamisa Breland. Mustard Tiger is in the building, rocking with us right now. We have a bunch of people here rocking with us. And I expect, obviously, there will be more people joining us as it goes on. Miss Duncan the Tall is in the building. Tamar Smith is rocking with us right here. Sassy T is rocking with us right now. Thank you for all you people who took time from your day to come out here to rock with me and to get down on these theories with me. And Phil the Issues guy is in the building. He's having some technical difficulties, but hopefully he gets them sorted out and we can get this done. He can come and join. Jon Snow is up in the building, rocking with us right now. Make sure that you hit that thumbs up for your boy. You know what I mean, so that we can try to get this video up there the way it's supposed to be, and maybe some more people will join us. If not, it's just us, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, we'll stall a little bit longer and see if Phil actually can make it. We'll give him a little bit more chance to see if he could actually pull it off and stuff like that. But if you have any of your favorite theories, tinfoil no, please let me know exactly what they are. If you have anything that you could say, like, oh, this is my favorite. And listen, tinfoil theories are fun and thoughtful. And people do have to make them up and take time out their day to make them up. So we're not trying to. And listen, any theory I've ever made is right to be under fire. You know what I mean? You can criticize anything I ever put out there. That's fine. That's why I put it out there. I don't put things out there just for everyone to agree with me. I put it out there because this is what I believe. But if someone could prove it wrong, then go right ahead and prove it wrong. Everything I made is up for discussion too. And if I talk about somebody's theory as an actual YouTuber, and they say that somehow I am, not doing it the justice is supposed to be done, I invite that person to come on here and explain their theory for themselves, so that I don't get that done. Because I definitely would like to. I definitely would like them to be able to discuss exactly why they thought of these things and everything else. We have right here from Mark B. I love the Brandon Stark being Rob's Papa theory. I think that theory is 100% correct. That was a theory made by Bar de Porto, who was actually my first ever YouTube partner that I ever, first person who ever asked to work with me on YouTube. And without a shadow of a doubt, I believe that theory wholeheartedly. And I am sure a lot of people don't. But I definitely go along with it. I think it explains a lot of things. It explains Catelyn's behavior towards Jon. It explains the reason why she was afraid of Jon. And it reveals that she had a big secret that she was hiding the whole time. And I did a video on it, on that recently, a remake of it. And I think it's called Catelyn's Secret. You can take a look at that video if you really want to get into that one right there. But I do agree that I'm with you on that one. Big E is saying, here we go. Does Loras Tyrell really hurt at Dragonstone, or is it a false report to deceive Cersei and keep Loras away from the King's Guard? I think that he's really hurt. I think he really is hurt. I don't think that is a that is a lie. That's just being there for Cersei. I do believe he did get hurt on Dragonstone. It seems fitting for him to have gotten burnt in that way and be on Dragonstone. So me particularly, I believe that that's what's going on. Mustard Tiger says, what do you think about Rhaegar's theory about the statues in the Winterfell crypts coming to life after the Horn of Winter is blown? So if you try to say like maybe that's the wake dragons from stone theory, think about the Roberts theory. Oh, Roberts theory. So this is Roberts from Indie Geek. Are you talking about him? Did he come up with this theory right here? And he's saying that the statues in Winterfell crypts coming to life after the Horn of Winter is blown. So I would really have to hear exactly how that's laid out. I could try to think of it. I've never really heard of it. So we know that the Horn of Winter somehow is going to be, so they're saying that the Horn of Winter is going to be blown. And by that happening, the stone statues in the Winterfell crypts are going to come alive. Is that the gist of it, I think? I don't know how, me personally, that would happen. I never heard of anything like the Horn of Winter making statues come to life at all. I've never heard of anything like that. You know what I mean? I just don't think, me personally, that unless there's something I'm missing here. You know what I mean? And if it is Robert from Indie Geek, he could definitely come on and explain it to me. He gave me the chance to go on his channel and explain my Children of the Forest theory of being the ultimate evil and playing the long game, and that that they were going to steal, that they stole Brendan Rivers' body, and that they're going to body snatch Brandon. That actually, they took a form of that and put it on that iceberg theories and put it on the bottom. My theory. I don't think they give me credit that I did it, but hey, at least it's up there and it made the list. And they say it's the bottom, but I think it's going to end that way. But as for what you're talking about, the statues in the Winterfell crypts, I think the only thing that can come to life in the Winterfell crypts is the what we've seen, the zombies or anything like that. I think that it can happen. The Night King can raise those, the dead people, the bones and stuff, back to life. I could see that going down. But as for the actual statues themselves, I mean, we do see that that they did have swords on their lap and everything. but I don't think that the statues themselves in some way would come apart. All right, we do see Phil eyeballs. His eyeballs are there and all that. This is a new look for Phil. Let's see exactly how it's going. Let's add him to the stream.
It's not necessarily a good look. I just popped in here for a second because I've been trying to restart it, but I'm stuck on the dead screen of death here. So this is the biggest Game of Thrones mystery, the fact that they don't want me here for this information because I don't want to mess with your audio all night with this awful cell phone stuff. But I just wanted to pop in and say hey to everyone and say I'll try to be back next week for the cast with Tony, or if I can get my computer on a little bit later. But the dog ate my homework and my computer's stuck in this fucking screen for the last 12 hours. So I mean the gosh dang screen for the last 12 hours.
Well,
so,
I appreciate you at least stopping by for a second and saying what up. It's always good to hear from you and everything else, and rocking for as much as you can. And listen, technical difficulties happen to the best of us, man. That's just the way it goes, you know. Sometimes they always happen when you don't want them to happen. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. So it's
exactly. And I felt bad because I planned on I freed the evening up and I planned on it, and then of course this crap happens, and then it looks like I'm just fucking up. But I actually really do I always liked the theory about the corpses in Winterfell coming alive in some ways. I always heard it more in association like being risen by a walker of some sort, by a White Walker rising up the corpses in there. But I didn't hear anything about the horn. But that is somewhat of an interesting theory. I like that idea.
I would need to investigate it more to really, to hear why. The initial, the initial thoughts of it. I don't see how it's possible.
Mm-mm.
But, I would like to hear why that the person came up with that theory believes that, because I'd never heard of anything with this horn that it's able to wake stone statues. We haven't seen, anything. I know it's supposed to be raise a stone dragon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a metaphor. I don't think that that's an actual stone dragon that's carved into the wall is going to come to life. If you want to say that the stone dragon is a grayscale dragon, somehow dragon gets grayscale, the only way I could see that happening is Shireen does have the dream about her being eaten by a dragon, and maybe somehow, some way she gets, around the dragon for a little bit, and the dragon actually does eat her, and then somehow has grayscale on him, becomes grayscale for eating Shireen. That's the only way I could see it going down.
That's a really bad kind of indigestion, though. I'd feel bad if that happens.
I feel terrible. Poor Shireen. Every way it looks like she's gonna die. It's like
one way or another.
She's gonna die. Getting burnt. She's getting eaten by a dragon. Nothing good happens. She doesn't have these dreams that she's marrying a prince. She doesn't have these dreams that she's taking over. The only dream she's having is that she's either getting eaten by a dragon or she's going to burn, one or the other.
Yeah, burned by her father or something like that. But anyways, I don't want to keep you too much in this form. If I can get signed onto the computer, I'll pop on in. If not, I'll be in the chat. Thank you, everybody. And good to talk to you, Tony, even briefly.
Always, brother. Always.
Yeah.
All right, that was the Phil Issues guy quickly rocking with us. That was Phil Issues guy rocking with us and stuff. And so I would have to really look more into that theory to see if that's a viable theory. Not saying that it's not, but it could be. Let's say we're up to a couple other people who just joined us. I see my man Fernandez Chi joined us. John Haymaker is now here with us. NYDA is in the building rocking with us. Jess is in the building rocking with us. Christina Slater is in the building with us rocking. So fine. We got a super chat here from Nomo. It says, I think Jon isn't dead. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. I think Jon isn't dead, but critically wounded. And Mel heals him with the spooky dance. But he'll be like Drogo till Ghost is killed to bring him You're right on the second half. All right. So talking about Jon Snow and and thank you. We got another super chat here. We'll get to that one in a second, but I'll say thank you. Listen, I said all my theories are valid. I made up the theory that Jon Snow's wolf was going to be killed in order to get him out. I came up with that. Thank you for supporting it. So it goes like this: he's dead, so his body is dead. This is what I believe will happen to Jon. Jon's body is dead. He got killed, but before he died, he moves his soul into ghost. That's why you see him say ghost. So Jon's soul is still alive. He's living his second life right now inside a ghost. I think his body is going to be moved into the ice chambers, into the ice place, into the wall itself, and then that's going to preserve his body. Now, at some point, he's going to have to get out of Ghost. And we learned from the Vlad Sixskins chapter that when he was warging the dog, and he had no idea that he was a warg, his father seen him, and his father killed the dog, and that forced him back into his body. That's how we did it. We also seen it with Orell, when Orell was in the eagle, and then Melisandre burnt the eagle, and it jumped him automatically back into its body. I think that's what's going to happen when they cauterize Jon's wound, so to say, stop the bleeding and everything else. I think after that, the ghost has to die. There's no way around it. It's impossible for it not to happen. Anyone who doesn't want to hear it, you don't have to. It's the truth. It's going to happen. Just so be prepared. This is nothing that I want to happen. This is just something I know is going to happen for fact. So Ghost will be killed to resurrect Jon Snow. And I think that's exactly how that's going to go down. So I do believe that you are right in there in this second half. But I do think I don't think he's critically injured. I do think he's dead. He was killed. Fernandez T, thank you for the super chat, 20 beans. Thanks for a Song of Ice and Fire talk. Please. Cheer. I'll give you all the Song of Ice and Fire talk you can take, man. I do not mind. Kelly Johnson also sent the super chat we didn't get to. Did Aryan Bright Flame get what he deserved? Yeah, he's an idiot. And, that and when you do stupid things, those things start happen to you. So I would have to say that, yes, he did, without a shadow of a doubt. You know what I mean? So, yeah, all right. That is so far what we got. Let's go into some of these theories. Now, the first theory we're going to talk about here is from someone that's a friend of mine. He came up with this theory, and as I said, we're going through these theories, trying to maybe you like them, maybe you don't, maybe you never heard them before. So let's go through them. This is a theory from Justin Thomas, who is the host of the Justin Thomas Show. Top Shelf Fandom is his channel. And his theory is Winterfell is actually Lightbringer. So Winterfell is Lightbringer. Let's go through this theory and see if this is if it's possibly could work. Now, Lightbringer, as we know, is the legendary sword that was used by Azor Ahai, who is the hero who defeated the White Walkers when they first came around the first time. Right? Azor Ahai, we know, dealing with his sword Lightbringer, had to temper this sword 3 different times. Now, once he used water to cool the blade and it broke. Once he used the lion heart. He stabbed the lion through the heart to temper the blade and it broke. The last time he did it, he plunged it through his wife's heart, and that is how it burst into flames because her soul went inside the blade, and that is how we get Lightbringer. Now, we have not seen this sword in the show, which is very disappointed. The closest thing we got was Stannis Baratheon pulling the sword out of the flames. In the books, we see Stannis does have a sword that Melisandre claims to be Lightbringer, and it does give off a glow, a really bright glow, but we know that it's not Lightbringer because the sword does not have any heat. It's not hot to the touch. It's not hot at all. So, how does Justin Thomas himself come to this theory that there is no sword Lightbringer? Instead, it's a metaphor for Winterfell. All right. So, Pivotal to this theory is another legendary figure, and that would be Brandon the Builder, whose is the namesake that we think for Bran Stark. Now, this Bran is supposedly built Winterfell, and other structures that we know of is Storm's End and High Tower of Old Town, and supposedly helped build the war. On all that, I mean, he was everywhere. This guy, build a Bob, basically, just build a brand. Now, according to this theory by Justin Thomas, the names of these structures that he built describes all of their functions. Storm's End holds up to harsh weather, so it is the end of the storm. The High Tower is literally a high tower, and Winterfell may be where winter fell, saying that this is where the White Walkers were defeated the first time. So far with this theory, I could see why he would go the way he's going with it. It does not sound crazy to me at all, this theory so far. It does sound feasible that this can happen. What we're hearing can happen. All right, let's go and continue reading on this theory right now. Now, in this theory, now Justin Thomas says that that Winterfell is a metaphor for Lightbringer. There is no actual sword. It is Winterfell, the sword that was tempered 3 times and broke twice. So that would how you would get to this be. You would have to have a sword that was tempered 3 times and then broke. That would be his theory. Now, Winterfell was first tempered, he's saying, when Theon Greyjoy sacked it during season 2. Now, as an Iron Islander, Theon represents water. And we know that the first time Azor Ahai tempered his blade in water, it broke. So that would be the first time. Now, and they would say that since Theon wasn't able to hold on to Winterfell, basically that would be him breaking the sword or breaking Winterfell because he wasn't able to hold it. All right, that would be that. Now, Winterfell again is broken when the Boltons, under a royal decree from the Lannisters, take over Winterfell. Now, this is the second time around. As we know, Azor Ahai tempered Lightbringer and the lion's heart. So here we represented that lion's heart by being the Lannisters, who told the Boltons to go and take over Winterfell. So in a roundabout way, you could say that this is how the sword was tempered again. And I guess when Winterfell is eventually retaken and the Boltons can't hang on to it, which we know it's going to happen, that would be the second tempering. Now, the last tempering is Nisa. He puts it through the heart. And we have Jon Snow as King of the North, ruling from Winterfell probably at this particular time. Daenerys Targaryen on her way there. I guess depending on who, and he's not specific in this. He says depending on whoever you ask, either one of these characters could be Azor Ahai reborn, and one of them will kill the other by stabbing him in the heart, and that is how we would get the final fortune. So I don't know if when I read that last part, if Winterfell is the sword, it wouldn't really matter to stab her in the heart because you wouldn't get a magic sword out of it, right? So if Winterfell is the Lightbringer, I don't think that would matter. Now, I made the theory up a long time ago that Jon Snow would kill Dany. You could check that out. I made that 7 years ago. So I do believe that Jon Snow will kill Dany. We did see him kill her in the books. In my theory, I didn't say he'd kill her because she went mad. I said that he was going to kill her to forge Lightbringer. and that she was going to be willing to do it, to give up her life for him to do it. It would be more of her allowing it and everything else. So that is Justin Thomas's theory of Winterfell being Lightbringer. What do y'all think in the comment section about the theory? I think it's a solid theory. I think it's a well thought out theory. All right, I give it props for that. And I also think that a lot of it, I mean, a lot of, if you wanted to say that Theon taking sacking his water, I think that fits good. The Bolton's Lannister thing is a tad bit of a stretch. I would say that would be a tad bit of a stretch right there. And that's what it would be. Jess is saying that possible. I'm on the similar wavelength. You know what I mean? I hear you. So I think it's a good theory. I give it props for coming up with the theory and everything. It's very original. But me personally, I don't think that Lightbringer is a metaphor. I think that Lightbringer really is a sword. 100%. Carla Wade says that, yeah, I love the symbolism behind it. It's definitely a well thought out theory, and I understand why you would say that 100%. I myself would have to just say, I do believe there will be a sword Lightbringer. Now, we didn't get Lightbringer, but we also didn't get any Valyrian steel armor in the show either. And I think we know we have that in the books, but that didn't make it to the show. I don't think that the Night King can be killed just by a regular sword or a Valyrian steel sword. I think it has to be something special to kill him. And I think we're going to have Lightbringer. I don't think that we bring up all that stuff for it not to be a magical sword. I believe that it truly is going to be a magical sword when it's all said and done. So for that reason, myself, I would have to say that I don't agree with the theory, because I do think we get a magical sword or when it's all said and done. But I will have to say that in the show, we did not get that magical sword. We could have got the magical sword if they really wanted to do it. They had every opportunity to do it, and they didn't do it. Now, if I had to pick what sword I would think would be that sword, I think you have to go with Dawn, right? You have to say Dawn is that sword. Dawn is the sword that is going to be a Azor Ahai sword. Obviously, the person who carries it is the sword of the morning. We know that the morning comes after night, right? Makes sense. The sword is called Dawn. Dawn is the rising sun. Could it just be 100% just could it be, this stuff to throw you off and everything? Of course it could be. But, they say that it was forged from a fallen star, a meteorite. It could be forged if you were to consider Nisa, a falling star, that she fell because she died, and it was stabbed into her heart, and her heart is representing the stars, and that's how it was forged. And that this title, Sword of the Morning, this person who protects that sword is just there to protect the swords until Azor Ahai can claim it. I would go with that. I go with that a little more than I would go with Winterfell actually being a metaphor. Though a couple of those things do fit. The Theon part I agree with. I think that fits. That works. The Lannister part, I can't go into Bolton's. I can't go with it. But everything and the last part, but it's definitely a good theory. Yes, it truly is. That little baby always makes me laugh when I see it. Always makes me laugh. You know what I mean? So, all right, let me put this back up here because I'm talking to you a little bit. Yes, when I talk to you a little bit, I'll try to put myself a little closer so you can see me. Not that y'all want to see me or anything like that. I was really like, man, I really debated. I was really just going to come on this motherfucker with a t-shirt on. I was going to come on here with a t-shirt and no hat because it's hot in here. It's hot for me to be sitting up in here in this damn. Why can't I wear a t-shirt like everybody else? Why I gotta wear these polos and these? Why can't I just be comfortable? I'm all expected to be in my polo shirts and everything else, but I don't mind. I'm here and everything else like that. Oh, what about what Oasis? I didn't catch what Oasis rules said, so Oasis rules, if you please can say it one more time, and I will definitely I'll be looking for it right now and everything, all that good stuff. So what's Mark B? Mark B saying something? What's Mark B saying? I think I remember Bridge saying he thinks Dawn is made of White Walker rather than a falling star. Kind of like that. I would have to have Bridge on to actually explain that, how that would happen. It all depends, it all depends, it's if the White Walkers shatter in the books the way, which I don't believe they do, the way they do in the show, then I don't think so. But I don't know. It depends. It depends what their skin is really made out of. Could you put that into a sword? Quite. It would depend. I would need to hear Bridges' full explanation on that before I could really comment on anything on that, how that could go down. I would really need to hear him, what he has to say on that, 100% on that theory and stuff and all that. So I would need to hear that. I would have to. Hey, Bridge will come on again, and we get he can explain himself on that theory and everything else. I still have not seen the Oasis rules question. I'm waiting for it right now. So after we get through that question, we'll go on to the next theory. Unless y'all have a theory that you want to put out there in the comment section, we will address that theory first before we move on to these next couple of theories. Let me see. Oh, let's see. What about I did answer your super chat. Did I not answer your super chat? I did answer that super chat, Kelly Johnson. You sent the one, right? And I did answer it. If you could put it in there again if I didn't. I know I did, but I'll answer it again if you want. It's not a problem. Oasis Rule says if the all right, let's just start right here. The good children of the forest of Esso, that carve the faces in the wayward trees. The bad children of the forest carve the faces into the wayward trees. So it comes down when you deal with someone, some are good, some are bad. I guess you could say that about anything. And I think people like to say that, about a lot of things. Oh, like there's factors. There's children of the forest that are good. Some agree want to do this one. And there's other ones who don't. I don't know if they're good or bad, or they did it for one or the other reasons. To me, I mean, obviously, not everybody is bad. To me, I believe the children of the forest had a plan from the beginning to take back their country, and this is what it's all about. So that's why I believe that the children of forest are bad, because of the ways they do it and the fact that their skin changing. Now, I just think that if they did carve faces in the shade of the evening trees, it was just done to spy on people as if they were spying through wayward trees. So I wouldn't say that the good ones did this and the bad ones did that. I think that anytime you see a face carved in a tree and it was done by the children of the forest, it was specifically done just so that person can spy. The children of the forest could spy. I would say that without a shadow of doubt. That is the way I see it. And that's the way I see it. So, but I thank you. I think I appreciate the question and everything else. Would you put hands on Arion like Dunk did? Oh, all right. I didn't even see this question, this super chat, but I thank you for it. Would you put Arion Dunk did? I would have to do worse. I would have done worse to him. In all honesty, I would beat him worse than Dunk. Dunk isn't a true fighter. I mean, he's a big guy, and he's just able to fight because he's big. His actual skill is doesn't really have any. He just uses his size and he outweighs people. But if an actual fighting skill, from what we see, he's just a brawler. He doesn't have skill to do anything. You know what I mean? So that's the way I would do. I think I do a much more damage, me personally, because I got a lot of skill behind me. I boxed for 7 years. I was wrestling. I wrestled for 3 years in high school, so I'm pretty well rounded. So I think that yeah, I would beat him pretty bad. I don't think that it would be it would be close. But and again, thank you. I'm sorry I missed that super chat, but thank you again for the super chat. I truly do appreciate them. So when looking at the poll here that I have for theories that people have up and stuff, let's try to go through a couple of these things just to see if some of this is done. Tormund is Lyanna's dad. Tormund is Lyanna Stark's dad. All right, so how does this theory come about? Tormund being Lyanna Mormont's dad. I guess what they're trying to say is that we know that it claims that the women from Bear Island have the ability to skin change into bears. Not skin change. So this is different. They have the ability to shape shift, right? That's the claim, that they can shape shift into bears, that they turn physically into bears, which is a big difference in warging or skin changing, because skin changes, your body doesn't actually turn. They claim in this island that the women can physically turn into bears. All right. So Tormund and his stories says that he once fucked a bear because he got caught suckling the bear's milk or something, and the bear thought he was. It's crazy. Like, the bear found him and thought he was the baby, so he suckled on the bear's milk, and somehow he wound up having sex with this bear, I guess. So I guess that's basically the gist of it. So you to believe this theory, you would have to believe that this bear that Tormund got with somehow this bear allowed first thought it was his baby and allowed him to suckle on the milk of a tit, or whatever tit. Let's just say tit. That's what it's called, right? For bears, the tete, right? And then somehow the bear allowed him to have sex with her at the same time, thinking that it was his baby. Now, I've never heard of animals that allow their children, or who they think their children is, to have sex with them. I've never heard of it. Now, I'm not. Is it possible that that's happened? I think, when they become adults or something like that. But as babies, I've never heard of animals allowing their babies to actually have sex with them. If the mother bear thought that Tormund was his baby, and that's why she allowed him to do that, I can't believe it. And also, it's called that in the show, but Ygritte says it. You never fucked the bear. You never did this, that. He just makes up all these stories. He's just known to make up these stories. So I for that reason, I just can't go with it. I don't think the guy did anything with no goddamn bear. He ain't fuck no bear. He's just talking shit, that trying to say that he's so rugged of a man that he's rugged enough to have sex with a bear. Now, I don't know how that makes you rugged or anything, or how you can be considered that would be a rugged situation for you, that you'd be that rugged that I can have sex with a bear. So I'm this rugged type person and everything. I don't know how that would go down in any way. But I can't buy that at all. Not whatsoever. I'm sketchy on the Mormons being able to shapeshift into bears to begin with. I don't really see a lot of things going on like that. I don't see a lot of shapeshifters in this story. So I don't know if they truly can do that, or that's just what they want people to believe, that they could do that. It's hard for me to think that that's the case, that unless someone unless you actually can physically see it, I don't know if they could actually do it. I'm not sold that they can do that. We hear a lot of things about other people, but we've never heard people actually being able to shapeshift their bodies into other animals and anywhere in this show. So I don't really believe that the Mormons can do it. Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat. What do you think about Maekar killing Baelor Breakspear, his brother, over foolish pride in the trial of the seven? I think that anything is capable of what Maekar. What do I think of him doing it? I don't think truly that much of it. When it comes down to the trial of the seven and all the dunk and egg stuff, it has been a very long time since I have even thought to think about anything that goes on in that series. I would have to really go back and truly do a reread of that whole thing to really give you a better answer this for you. I would have to truly go back. Now, I know a lot about it, but I don't know everything about it, because I liked the Dunkin' Egg, but it was never like something like I read it like once or twice, and it's been so many years since I have. I was going to have to. So I was going to have Miss Duncan the Tall on, because Miss Duncan the Tall is an expert in Dunkin' Egg, the tales of Dunkin' Egg, and she knows everything that goes on with that stuff. So I would direct that towards her more than anything. But I am not an expert on Dunkin' Egg, and I would really have to go and read up more on them to see exactly, to give you my actual depiction on this actual question. I apologize for that, but that is the truth of the matter. But I thank you for the super chat. We have Melinda Murphy saying, Murphy. The others are trying to hatch dragon eggs. Blood Raven is Craster's daddy. Blood Raven has King's blood. Craster's baby has King's blood. Boom. Ice dragons. All right. So thank you for this. So I this is not supposed to be anything to do with it, Don. So Blood Raven being Craster's baby is my theory. I made that theory up. That's mine. You can go back and check my video on that video, and I guarantee you that you'll never find anything that was published by anyone before I said that. I actually made that theory up with Don Willie is in the video with me, and Don the Kraken Wit. When I first came up with that theory, I thought that people would make fun of me. And Don the Kraken Wit is actually the one who, after I told him the theory and everything, helped me research and find out the things that supported my claim to that. So shout out to Don the Kraken Wit. Shout out to Don the Willie. In fact, it's one of the famous videos, one of my most favorite videos I ever made. And I think that link is almost in every description box of any video that I make. That link of that video is in there. So I appreciate you bringing this up. And I did say that any theory I came up with, it is on the line to be discussed too. All right. So I will say this. I definitely agree that Blood Raven, since I came up with it, I'll tell you that Blood Raven is Craster's father, 100%. And I'm not just, and I am saying it because I made it up. So that is, I do believe that Blood Raven has blood. I call him Blood Raven again. Jesus, Blood Raven has king's blood. Craster's babies have king's blood. Yeah. So that was so it goes back to my theory that I said that, you know, that the Night King and them have Valyrian blood in them, because I always said the Night King had Valyrian blood in them due to the fact that they were taking Craster's children, and while they were taking, that's the reason why Craster's children were special. They were the Song of Ice and Fire, Craster's children, because Craster's children have blood of the North and blood of the Targaryen, Song of Ice and Fire. And that is the reason why his babies were accepted by the White Walkers, and that is what it is. So yeah, I 100%. I have no choice but to support this because I made it up, and I wanted to, you know, to seem like, you know, I'm just supporting it because I did make it up, but I did it, so I have to support it, and I do believe it, and it's not fair for me just to talk about it without anybody having any rebuttal. Like if I had Philip Bridge here, I would really discuss it more, because I don't want people just to think that I'm just trying to like toot my own horn about things that I did and everything else and all that and everything. But I did say without a shadow of a doubt that theory, everything I made up is totally, you could definitely say something about it, and I appreciate you bringing it up. But if y'all never seen that video, I think I made that video like 8 years ago, if not more longer. But it's usually in the link, it's in the description and stuff like that. So definitely. And that is the reason why, and I said, you know, that I said that the new Night King is going to be Baby Monster. I made up that theory. It's because of the bloodline, and Baby Monster will be the Night King in this and when the books show it's that baby that turns to the Night King. Kelly Johnson, thank you for the super chat. It says, T, would Ramada Jr. do a good I don't know who is Ramada Jr. I don't know who that is. Should I know this person? Kelly Johnson's asking me these questions and trying to stump me all night long. I think that's a plan. But I don't know who Ramada Jr. is. Romita Jr. I don't know who that is. With John Romita Jr. With John Romita Jr. Who is that? The guy who made The Heights? Is that who that is? I don't know. I would have to find out who that. What up to? Oh my God, Pineda. I got Pineda. I ain't gonna get the first name, so I'm not. And the Don doesn't want to butcher your name, shorty. You know what I'm saying? At all. So I'll just go with Pineda, or I can call you P. You know what I mean? It's the guy from Kick-Ass. I've never seen the movie Kick-Ass in my life. Never. I never seen him. I never seen Kick-Ass. Not my type of movie and stuff. But thank you for rocking with us, P Diddy, running with us in here. And yeah, I never seen Kick-Ass myself. Yeah. Oh, really? That's right. You're correct. I've never seen it. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't know what that would be. So let's see. Mark B says, tinfoil theory, Winds of Winter is never dropping. You know, listen. George R. R. Martin's got time to write video games. He just wrote that new video game. He wrote the whole story for Elven. What is it? Elven Blade or something like that. Whatever it is, Elven something. New video game coming out. He wrote the whole damn story for that, but he doesn't have time to write Winds of Winter. I would have to think, and this is the way I looked at the way George writes and everything else, and it seems that he writes a lot for the previous books and then moves those chapters into other books, like The Forsaken was meant to come out, or I think that was meant for Feast, the Forsaken chapter. And he moved that Forsaken chapter from Feast all the way, it gets moved into Winds of Winter. So from 2 books ago, he has a chapter he wrote for 2 books ago that's going to go into this latest book. So if he writes Elder Ring, thank you very much, Elder Ring is the name. I appreciate that. If that is the reason why he did, if that's how he writes, and I believe that he should have most of this book done because he should have these extra chapters laying around. I think it's going to come out next year. I mean, I've been saying this for years, and you can keep checking, and I keep giving you things. He's way overdue. I don't know about the last book. I don't think we're going to get that book. But I do believe we will get Winds of Winter. And I think a lot of the stuff that most people care about is going to be settled in Winds of Winter. I think we already got the ending. We know that. But I think a lot of the secondary stories is what people care about more, the Euron Greyjoy stuff and all that. I think all that ends in Winds of Winter. So I think we will have the ending that we want. And we know how the rest ends and everything else. So I don't think we'll ever get Dream of Spring, but I do believe we get Winds of Winter and everything else. So that is what it is. But yeah, Elder Ring. Elder Ring is the game that he wrote. And listen, he wrote another game, a Game of Thrones game for the Nintendo 60. Was it the Nintendo 64? He wrote this game, and I thought that game was that story in that game is a great story. If you listen to that story and that game for that Game of Thrones game that he wrote, that story is a really good story for that game. So this is not the first time he's written for video games. He did that in the Game of Thrones story already for the game that came out for the it wasn't a Nintendo 64. It wasn't a GameCube either. It was I don't know what it was. Was it the 64? Was it that long ago? It couldn't have been the 64. No way. It would have had to have been the GameCube. I mean, I gotta think. I can't be the Nintendo 64. There's no way. It was that old. Couldn't have been that far back. But I gotta take a look at it. I'll find it. Now, I'll post it. You know what I do? I know someone who has, on YouTube, has all the cutscenes on it. And we'll figure that out. Oh, we'll go through this one, then we're going right to Kelly Johnson's question, the super chat. So we go right to that, but we got to take Oasis because we have it sitting there on the screen. Night's Watch destroyed all the history of the Night's King, Jon Snow. But what about the word of mouth tales like Danny Flint, Jon and Danny, Night's King and Queen? So if you're saying that you believe that Danny Flint is the Night's Queen, I don't know about that Danny Flint will be the Night's Queen. I think Bridge 4 came up with that theory. I'm not sure. I would have to hear his theory on it, but I don't think it's the thing. The reason why they wanted to destroy the records of the Night's King and that the Night's King had Stark blood in him is to protect the Starks, who were the kings of Winterfell. To be basically like protecting the Targaryens. These are basically the kings of Winter, the kings of the North. I think that's why they did it. I would have to go, if I'm still going 100% that if there is a Night's Queen in this show, it'll be Melisandre. Melisandre will be the Night's Queen. I'm sold on that. I've said that a very long time. And the reason why I said it, and the final nail in the coffin, You can see that when Melisandre is at the wall, she has more power at the wall than she's had any time anywhere else. Why is that? And George R. R. Martin has a figurine. If you go check my video, Melisandre's the Night's King, you can see a copy of this figurine. It's in that video when I came up with this. And I said that Melisandre would be that because of this figurine. When I seen that figurine, it's basically a Night's Queen version of Melisandre. It's the same exact mold, but she's in blue. And instead of throwing a fireball, she's throwing a blue fireball. So I think when you go through all that, I think that's what it is. I think Melisandre will be the Night's Queen, if anyone. I know people have said Cersei. I don't know if the Night's King makes the King's Landing for it to be Cersei. But Danny Flint, I don't know. I know that's Bridge. I would have to hear more on that. Thank you for the super chat, Kelly Johnson. T, why do only silver-haired Targs get the throne? I don't know if it's the silver-hairedness of the Targaryens that get the throne. I think it's just more interesting, probably for George, to have these people, to have them look different and everything, and to have them be on the throne than anything else. I think it would be more of a situation like that. Why they get the throne. I don't know if it has anything. I have to really look at the connections of the Targaryens and see like if they were black-haired Targaryens or blonde-haired Targaryens, and somehow all of them never hit the throne. It's only the silver-haired ones that make it. I would have to do a little more investigation into that right there to see if that is the case and everything else for that. Jackie C agrees with Carla Wade. Let's see what Carla Wade said there. I think I missed it. It would be quite poetic for a fire priestess to end up the Ice Queen. Yeah, listen, it definitely would be, and I would definitely take a look at that video that I made a long time ago. I made a lot of videos a long time ago. Melisandre is the new Night's Queen. I think it may be called. Or something like that. But definitely check out that video and take a look at that damn statue. And I think that it's pretty much done deal when you see the statue. And even the ground on it, like in the Melisandre statue he has, and this is a statue he commissioned to be made only for himself, that was not supposed to be released to the public, and no one was supposed to see this statue. It was only for his own house. And he had told him to make it. But when you see the picture of Melisandre and the statue, when you see her on it, she is, you see her, she is, let me see. Let me see if I can bring the video up for you. Let's see. If I can pop it over here. Oh. As soon as you do it, my video is the first one that pops up because my video is the one I made up. All right, it's not a long video, and when it pops up here, I'll play it for you. Let's see real quick. Let's see if I can switch this real quick. Let me see. 1 second. Oh, I'll play this for you. Then you can be the judge yourself. All right. Usually don't play my own videos. What's the deal, my people? You know who it is. It's a John Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another. Let's see. I made this video. Let's take a look at the date real quick. March 2nd, 2016. March 2nd, 2016. And this one is why I believe Melisandre will be the new Night's Queen. Now, I know you might be asking yourself, Tef Daddy, why do you think that? She's been burning motherfuckers for your boy Stannis this whole goddamn series. If she is anything, she is fire. I'm gonna tell you straight up, man, no doubt that's true enough. Melisandre is known for a couple of things to me. First is the fire, second is glamoring, and third is making shadow babies. Now keep that in mind while I go on with this. Now, we also know that this quest of hers for Azor Ahai, this is something that she's doing on her own. And she's the only person that we hear use that phrase, weight dragon from stone. So how did she get this extra knowledge? How did she get this secret information? Or is somebody sending her this secret information? So that there's a dragon's Melisandre trapped, and we see her look into the flames for Azor Ahai. And while she's doing this, she passes out. Then she's like, oh shit, and snaps out of it. And she says, because dreams are whispers from the great other. But before she does that, she does see herself as being a child, sold into slavery. Now, in our world, we can't control what we dream. But in this world, you can. Well, a few people can. And we know one of them is Raven, who she just happened to see in her flames and identifies as the great other, but then changes her mind and calls him and Bran servants of the great other. And then the reason she gives this is because even in his decrepit form, she thinks that the great other must be more disgusting than he even looks. Now, if you watch my channel, you have heard me say time and time again, things are not what they seem. And if we learn one thing from this book, it's that the best looking people can be the most evil. Look at me. Stannis is a killer. Stannis is a killer. Your father was a killer. Your brother is a killer. Your sons will be killers someday. No elders built by killers. So you better get used to looking at them. Now, I don't think Bloodraven is the great other, mainly because we hear that the great other's name cannot be said. And we hear a lot of people say Bloodraven's name over and over again. And I don't think we will see the great other at all in this series, because I think the great other was killed a long time ago. Now, in the TV show Game of Thrones, we see a little bit beyond the book, and we go all the way to the lands of Orlwy's Winter. And here we see the Night Kings turning babies into White Walkers in what looks like some type of religious ceremony. Now, not all of them are here because we know Craster gave at least 90 of his sons to them. So if we look at the White Walkers in the back, they add up to 13. Which just happens to be the same number of the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, whose name was erased from history and told to never be said again, who is the Night King. Which just happens to be the number of years he ruled at the Night's War with his corpse queen. So I think the great other, the gods the White Walkers or the others pray to, is the human. He united the others and the humans. Night's King. And out of respect to him, they give the title the Night's King, just like the Danes give the title the Sword of the Mornings to their champion. Now, it's said that the Night's Queen was so beautiful that the Lord Commander, who supposedly was a Stark, gave up his vows, and we know the Starks take those vows seriously, and chased her and claimed her the Wildling Way. So why do I think that Melisandre is the new Night's Queen? Well, the Night Queen is described as beautiful. Her skin was as white as the moon, her eyes blue as stars, and her skin was supposedly as cold as ice. Melisandre is known as a great beauty. Her skin is supposedly unblemished. Even Maester Craster, who hates it, notices her beauty. And her eyes are red, and Jon says that her skin is warm to the touch. Jon also tells you that she is a queen on numerous occasions. And I think you got to ask yourself, why is her power stronger at the wall? This is a wall of ice. She does fire magic. It makes no sense for her to be stronger. And when the Lord Commander was with the Night's Queen, it said that he gave his soul when he gave her his seed, which means to me that he willingly gave himself to her, just like Crafter willingly gives his sons to the White Walker. Combination with that, with the right blood, and that is the reason why I believe humans can become White Walkers. Now, I go more into that in my other video, The White Walker's Buster. You can click the invitation to go to that video. As I said, if Melisandre is known for one thing in this story, it's that she gives birth to shadow babies. And after taking seed from Stannis, what happens? She takes his soul. And if you're a fan of my channel and you heard me say this a long time ago, we know that Dark Horse makes beautiful figurines for Game of Thrones. And George R.R. Martin liked it so much that he had an artist make a specific one that was never supposed to be released to the public for him in his personal collection. Now, after it was released, he says, oh, he patterned it after this and patterned it after that, yada, 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 yada. Bullshit. It just happened to be released. And there's no doubt in my mind, if you look at this, there's no way Melisandre is not going to be the Night's Queen. Not only is she cold, if you look at her face, She doesn't look the same. She looks like she's turned to a White Walker. So tell me what you think. Is Melisandre the next queen? I will put the poll in the card, and you can answer on the comment section. So, if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this. Please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy. Yeah, so that was that video that I made a very long time ago. That Melisandre was the Night's King and everything else. I see people in here talking again about the Stannis, the video of let me stop that sharing. Let me put my regular screen share up, the one that we had from the beginning of the show. Let's go back to that. There we go. That right there. Boom. All right. There we go. Perfect. So yeah. I'm sorry. Let me put it back down here. Yeah. So I know that. Thank you very much for people saying great video. Yeah, I appreciate. I know people are now again talking again about the Craster situation. Clint Williams is saying that Craster equals blood Raven's son. Yes. Again, I will say it. I said it before. Maybe Clint wasn't there, but yes, I'm the one who made that theory up. So I agree with you on that theory. That I made that one up. You can check out the video that I did it. You can check out the date I posted it, and I guarantee you I have seen that theory copied on Reddit many of times, not more than once. And but if you look, that none of theirs came out before mine. Mine came out some 8-9 months, almost a year before they even came with. They even had the balls to put that up there and not say that I made it up. But yeah. So I do agree that Craster is Blood Raven's son. I'm the one who came up with that, and that's it. But yeah, that is what I. Thank you very much. I think that Melisandre is the Night's Queen, just for exactly the reason that I said there, in there, everything that points. Now, as for the great other in that situation, so. We'll talk about this real quick. Let me ask before we go into that. It said, didn't Craster's father abandon him and return to the wall? Yeah, so Craster's father, we know, was someone from the Night's Watch. All right? Craster's father was from the Night's Watch, and after Craster was, after the mother got pregnant, she left. She tried to come to the wall and say something about it, about the baby. And then the Night's Watch scared her away. So the fact that the Night's Watch did that leads you to know that whoever she was coming to talk about was very important. And you have to also remember, when you look at the thing, that when Blood Raven left the wall, he was 77 years old when he got called by the Three-Eyed Raven, and he went up there. So an old man walking through the north, you don't think that he'd be able to have the ability to do that at that age by himself and all that. So that is why I believe. I go into more details and stuff like that. If you look at the timeline 100% matches up for that to be the case. For Blood Raven, for that to be Blood Raven's kid. Someone else said something else here, and I wanted to say something about it. Oh, yeah. So I said in there that Blood Raven was not the great other. All right. And the fact that I say that Blood Raven is the fact that Blood Raven is not the great other, because you can't say his name and people have said his name. As I said before, I don't believe that Blood Raven, and you can look at my videos, I did this, is Blood Raven. Blood Raven died. The Children of the Forest body snatched Blood Raven and took over his body. The last Green Seer took his body. You don't hear the last Green Seer's name. You never hear that name being. You just hear a title, the last Green Seer, but you don't hear that name. Blood Raven is not that. If you want to call it Blood Raven, just so you know who we're talking about here, we could say it's Blood Raven. The same thing's going to happen to Bran, without a shadow of a doubt. They're going to take over Bran's body just like they took over Blood Raven's body. They're going to jump into that body because they need a new body. Bloodraven's body's about to die. So they need a new body. And Bran is the candidate. It's going to be Bran. Bran is the one they're going to take over next. And eventually they're going to take the Iron Throne in Bran's body. And that's how they take the Iron Throne. That's the way it goes. And everything. So that is what it's going to be. So we can go over other theories. If anyone else has more, I would love to go over more. You know me, I'm about that life and stuff like that. I didn't have it on full screen. That's why it didn't look. It looked the way it did. I'm sorry about that. I should have had that on full screen for you so it looked better. I'm sorry. Should have did that. But it didn't. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to. Who look at all these people who stole this theory? Oh yeah, I could just go right down and just see them all. I don't even want to get upset about stuff like this. I do not want to have a good time tonight. I shouldn't even have looked because I knew that it would have came down to that. The White Walker's monster. What a beautiful video that is. Anyway, I'm not going to go through it right now. I'm not going to do it. Everything else. All right, so we are theory OT Georgia. We'll finish the books. Well, we got one person saying he won't. Tony, how do you feel about R plus A equals D? And Danny gets Dawn. So that is Rhaegar plus Ashara equals Danny. Is that what is wait? What is so Rhaegar? Who is the D? Who is the D here? I'm figuring that R is Rhaegar, A is Ashara. Who is the D? I mean, who is the D in this equation? R plus A equals D. Who is that? I need to know. If that's Daenerys, so you're saying that Daenerys is not Rhaegar's sister, but instead it's his daughter? Is that what we're saying here? Or maybe there's another D that I'm not aware of. All right, so the D is Dany. Yeah, so you're saying that Rhaegar, so Dany is really Rhaegar's daughter. Now, I think that we have an accurate depiction of her and Viserys. You know, then who is Viserys? You know what I mean? How would he know? He grew up with Dany. You know, they so for that reason, I just don't think that that's even possible. So, you know, so how would Rhaegar have a baby with Ashara, and then they would have to pass that baby off as the Mad King's baby? How's that? I just don't see in any feasible way how that would be possible. Now, I don't know the theory. I'm just going by just what I know. I just don't see how it's possible. Too many people seeing her being born by her mother. It's documented that she was born by her mother and her father. People know. People gave birth to her. You know, it's not like she got dropped off at the wall and she's adopted. You know, this lady was pregnant for 9 months and then gave birth to Dany. So for that reason, I would have to say that it wouldn't happen. Now, we don't never hear about Rhaegar and Ashura Dame even having a thing together. Not even a rumor of that at all. I think what it was, when you deal with the Danes and you deal with Rhaegar, this is what I think it is. Rhaegar first thought that he was Azor Ahai. He did a lot of research on the prophecy. I think during this research, he realized that Dawn was Azor Ahai's sword. So I think this is what it was. I think this was the plan. The reason why Rhaegar asked Sir Arthur Dayne to stay behind was that he knew at that time that Jon, his son, was going to be Azor Ahai, the third head of the dragon, and he had to survive no matter what. And this is the reason why he was willing to give his life. He was like, listen, I want you, I think the plan was, if something happened to him, that he was to take that baby, when that baby was born, and either give it to his sister to raise, or to go run away with the baby and Lyanna, that Sir Arthur Dayne would run away with both of them and raise the baby in private and not let anybody know that they're raising a child, or it was to give to his sister to raise and say it was her child. But I think that she gave birth by the time Ned got there. So I think that she was so bad, Lyanna, that she couldn't be moved, or they would have got her out of there. I think that's what happened there. But I think that was the plan. I think the plan was that because he knew that his son was going to need Sir Arthur Dayne's sword, and that was his best friend. So I think that was the plan. Kind of like the Griff situation, like that was going to go down. I do believe it was going. I do believe that was it and stuff. The way it was going to be. The Great Dragon coming here with the Don's words. What's the deal, my people? What's the deal, baby? What's going on with everybody up in here? Hope everybody's having a decent time, rocking, going over some of these theories. I'll be back every week. We'll go over theories every week, and maybe once a week we'll pull up one of my theories just to be fair, and we'll go through it also, so that people don't think I'm just trying to pick on other people, because I'm not trying to pick on anyone. I love theories. I love how people came up with them. I love to hear them, even if I don't agree with them. I love that people like to make them. So I love hearing all about them and stuff and everything else. And without a shadow of a doubt. So we could definitely go through them all and stuff like that, and definitely talk about them. Definitely talk about them. I love to talk theories. I'm all about that life. 100%. I'm about that life, talking theories and all that. And thank you for anyone who's here watching. We know you don't have to be, and you choose to be, and you could be anywhere in the world, but you're rocking here with me. And I just want you to know that I appreciate it. I appreciate all you taking the time for coming out here and everything else, without a shadow of a doubt. I truly do. Jeez. I have not seen this in a very long time. Let me see something. Oh my God. This is all right. This is what I do. So I will go through this. We will go through this because it was asked a couple of times and everything else. And when we're done with this, we will call it a day after this, and we'll come back next week with y'all. You know what I mean? And I'm happy for everyone who has came here. Gretchen Albert is here, and everybody else and all that. And I appreciate the picture too. Fun stream, great workout with in the background. We appreciate you working out. We truly do. without a shadow of a doubt. All right, let's go through it real quick because people, I told you I did this video a long time ago. We'll go through this video and then we'll call it a day right after that. But unless anyone has any questions about it, told you that I made this theory up. You can check it out. 2015 is when I published this video with Don the Cracking Wits in it and Don Willie, oldie but a goodie.
And I'm back at you with another one, and this one is about Azor Ahai. Now, I know we all look for Azor Ahai and these folks to come and save the day for a long night. I know everybody has their opinion of who they think he or she is. We can go through those right now if we really wanted to, but they have been searched out. But I was thinking that since this is a prophecy, and this is sort of advice and fire books, we see that there are always two sides to a story, and this time we are only given the Westerosi side, and we know that there is no good or no evil in this world, just people with agendas who make decisions who you might be constituted to believe in good or evil. Now, thinking like that, the White Walkers have their own prophecy. Shouldn't they have their own hero who brings in the long night? That would be a great world for them. So we see the importance of the Red Priests and all of these people who support the faith, but we don't really see people who support the White Walkers' cause. And now I believe that there is an Azor Ahai for the White Walkers, and I also believe that this prophecy has been fulfilled somewhat for the fact that this person has been born, not reborn yet. And I believe that this person is Craster's child with Gilly Munster. Now, to prove my point, we must look at Craster and his lifestyles and see why I would believe this. And since I am here, stuck in New York, and I do not like to fly, only when I really have to, and I cannot gather the information myself in this video, I, fortunately, have a friend that I know has personally traveled beyond the wall and back several times, and he has agreed to make this trek for you and for me, Teflon TV, and this person is none other than the road ranger himself, Don Willie.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Don Willie reporting from north of the wall for Teflon TV, and today I'm here to talk about everyone's least favorite incestuous wildling, Craster. Craster is a wildling chieftain and lord of Craster's Keep. While the names of his parents are unknown, do know that his father was a man of the Night's Watch and his mother was a wildling for White Tree. Claims to be a godly man. What gods does he serve? First introduced in the Clash of Kings, he's one of the few wildlings that is actually friendly with the Night's Watch and allows the Watch to stay at his place while they're on their way to find Benjen Stark. Aside from giving info about Mance Rayder, during this time, we learned about some of Craster's strange and downright disgusting personal practices. One of the first bits of info we get about him is that Craster has 19 wives. While that may not seem too strange, the fact that some of these wives are his daughters is the part that makes this beyond disgusting. The second thing is that any sons he has are abandoned in the woods. We later learn that Craster offers his sons to the White Walkers in exchange for protection. The most shocking part of this revelation is that some of the Night's Watch are aware of this practice. Later, in A Storm of Swords, Craster, along with Jon Mormon and several other members of the Night's Watch, are killed during the mutiny. While no exact number can be found, it's said that Craster had 99 sons, all of which were given to the White Walkers, except his last, who escaped with Sam and Gilly to the wall. At the present time, we still don't know what kind of deal he reached with the White Walkers, or what the possible ramifications of Craster giving his sons to them are. In the TV show Game of Thrones, a White Walker is seen taking one of Craster's last sons to the lands of Always Winter, where he's transformed by the leader of the White Walkers. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about Craster. Is he the dirtiest old man around, or is he someone just doing what he had to do to survive? Anyway, I'm Don Willie reporting to you from north of the wall for Teflon TV. That's been my time. I'm out.
Thank you, Don Willie, for that. And please subscribe to Don Willie's channel. Now, before we get back to the father of the White Walkers, and we will in a second, first let me talk about Gilly. So, not only is she the 19th wife, she also gives birth to the 99th male child. Also, her name is Gilly.
The Gilly flower.
That's right, Mr. Amen. Gilly after the Gilly flower. And it just so happens that one type of Gilly flower is known as the herb. And that flower is also known as the United Saint Gilly flower. But another word for that flower is Mother of Evening. So, the Mother of Evening gives birth to a child that they deem monster. Now, the prophecy says for Azor Ahai that Azor Ahai will be reborn under a bleeding star amidst salt and smoke. And we know from reading these books that only death can pay for life. So, let's take a look and see what happens when Gilly gives birth to monster. First, the bleeding star.
They burned the ranger's corpse at sunset in the fire that Gren had been feeding earlier that day.
And also when she gives birth to monster, let's look at the second part, salt and smoke.
Does he know I spoke to Gilly? The last time we were here, he wondered. Did she tell him I said we'd take her? Did he beat it out of her? I'm cold, said Bannon. Please. I'm cold. For all the heat and smoke in Craster's hall, Sam felt cold himself. I'm tired. So tired. He needed sleep. But whenever he closed his eyes, he dreamed of blowing snow and dead men shambling toward him with black hands and bright blue eyes. Up in the loft, Gilly let out a shuddering sob that echoed down the long, low, windowless hall.
So we have the two things we need right there for Azor Ahai to be reborn. We have the salt and smoke, and we have the bleeding. So we know that Craster isn't killing his kids, even though some of the Night's Watchmen think he is. And we know that when he gives his sons to the White Walkers, that they change the babies to White Walkers. And I think that would be the part of what would have happened, and that would have been him being reborn.
Come for the baby.
Stay back! Stay back!
But that doesn't happen because Sam and Skilly escape with the baby. Now the last reason why I think this kid is definitely the White Walker's Azor Ahai is blood. And there's no doubt, even when you see this child being breastfed, you see that he is fighting the other babies. He's already basically a White Walker without being changed. He's evil and he's trying to do bad things. So we see characters like Val who named the child Monster, said it straight up. He's a monster, and he's not changing. So there's something going on within his bloodline to make him predisposed to become a White Walker. Because I just don't believe that everybody and anyone can just have their kid turn to White Walker. So this must mean something in his blood. And the reason why I have to go with Craster's father more than Craster's mother is that his mother is just a wildling from the white tree. So it has to be blood from his father's side. Now, we don't know much about his father. All we know is that he was a man of the Night's Watch, a ranger from the Night's Watch, who, when he had his way, went back to the wall. His mom tried to go back there and tell him about the baby, and they chased him off. So that tells me that they're going to chase his mother off. This must be a pretty important person at the time when they go there, when the mom goes there. It's not going to be some random person, you know what I mean? So, without knowing Craster's age, it's pretty hard to tell who his father is. But I think it has to be somebody with King's blood. Now, we see the importance of King's blood in and out of this story all the time. So it only makes sense to me that if fire is using King's blood, that the side of ice would use King's blood too. So I gotta gamble here because we don't know exactly how old Craster is. But I'm gonna say that he looks a little bit younger than Commander Mormon, and he moves around a little bit better than Commander Mormon. Now, Commander Mormon was 69 when he died. So let's try to make it close so it's not crazy. Let's say Craster is 65, 64, around that age, all right? Now, if we use Craster at that age, and that is a viable age for him, I think it is, that would mean he was born around 235 AC. Now, at 235 AC, I do not know of any Stark who was at the wall at that time. Or that if there was a Stark at the wall, I don't know of any Stark who was a Ranger at the wall at that time. But I do know 2 Targaryens who were at the wall at this time. And those 2 Targaryens were Maester Aemon and Blood Raven. Now, it seems funny to me that Blood Raven takes particular interest in avenging the death of Craster by sending his goon Cold Hand to kill these mutineers.
The ranger killed a pig. Cold Hand stood beside the door, a raven on his arm, both staring at the fire. Reflections from the flames glittered off 4 black eyes. He does not eat, Bran remembered, and he fears the flames. You said no fire, he reminded the ranger. The walls around us hide the light, and dawn is close. We will be on our way soon. What happened to the men? The foes behind us? They will not trouble you. Who are they? Wildlings? Mira turned the meat to cook the other side. Hodor was chewing and swallowing, muttering happily under his breath. Only Jojen seemed aware of what was happening as Cold Hands turned his head to stare at Bran. They were foes. Men of the Night's Watch. You killed them. You and the Ravens. Their faces were all torn, and their eyes were gone. Cold Hands did not deny it. They were your brothers. I saw. The wolves have ripped their clothes up, but I could still tell. Their clothes were black, like your hands. Cold Hands said nothing. Who are you? Why are your hands black? The ranger studied his hands, as if he had never noticed them before. Once the heart has ceased to beat, a man's blood runs down to his extremities, where it thickens and congeals. His voice rattled in his throat, as thin and gaunt as he was. His hands and feet swell up and turn as black as pudding. The rest of him becomes as white as milk.
So not only did Cold Hand kill these men, we see here that the Raven got involved in the action. And the Ravens were pecking and clawing and taking the eyes out of these Night's Watchmen. Why? I mean, that seems personal to me. Wouldn't he be happy, Blood Raven, if he's fighting for the side of good, the side for the children of the forest? This is the man who was making White Walkers. Shouldn't you be happy that this man has been taken out? Shouldn't you be happy that he is no longer making babies for the White Walkers? But instead, he gets involved himself, and he goes in there and has the crows peck out these people's eyes. Now, let's see, is it possible that Blood Raven is the father of Craster and grandfather of the White Walkers? Now, let's crunch the numbers. from the birth and death. And I'm going to use Maester Aemon because he's one of the only people that has the full timeline that you can see that he lived 102 years to know exactly where they were at. And let's focus on the ages of Bloodraven and Aemon as they ascend to the wall and what's going on at that time. So, at 175 AC, Bloodraven is born. At 198 AC, Aemon is born, making Bloodraven 23 years older than him. At 208 AC, Aemon is sent to the Citadel at age 10. At 217 AC, Aemon forges his chain at the age of 19, and Bloodraven is now 42. At 233 AC, Aemon and Bloodraven get sent to the war. Aemon is now 35, and Bloodraven is 58. At 239 AC, Bloodraven becomes Lord Commander at the age 64. Aemon is 41. At 252 AC, Bloodraven leaves and is never to be seen again. This is at the age of 77. Aemon is 54. Now, at 300 AC, Aemon dies at 102. Bloodraven is 125 now, living in a tree as the three-eyed crow. So, if Craster would have been born at 235 AC, that's 4 years before Bloodraven becomes Lord Commander. And if Bloodraven was going to be cool with any wildlings at any time, you would think it would be the wildlings from White Tree, because they have the most hugest heart tree in the world. And if you think if he's going to get a vision from the former Grease Seer, and that Grease Seer is going to ask him to come to where he was at 77 years old, he's going to need some help to get there. So if any type group of wildlings had any connections with any children of the forest, or anything of green sight, it would have to be the wildlings of White Tree. So I think it would be obvious for him to make that stop there and them to help him get up to where he had to be.
And I know before you say it, Craster looks nothing like a Targaryen, but you must remember his mother is a wildling from the north, and Brendan River's mother is a Blackwood from the north. And if you look at Melissa Blackwood's features and Gilly's features, they're pretty much similar, almost identical. And again, about Gilly, last but not least, the mother of the evening, which sounds like the Night's King to me. The color of the flower she is named after just happens to be purple.
Let me thank my man Don Willie and my man Don the Kraken for agreeing to help me out with this video. Please subscribe to their channels. And if you like the way I do this, you know what you got to do. Please thumbs up it. Please spread this across the realm, and please subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace. Stay sexy.
And that is that video. Now I'm sorry that I even played it, but I told you, and you got to see a very skinny Tony Teflon back then. That was a very slender Tony Teflon back then. I don't know how much I weighed back then, but it looks like I weighed like 100 pounds. But I told you, I made that theory up. You can go check the date, and I guarantee you won't find anybody on that. Again, let me give a shout out to my man Don Willie, my man Don the Kraken Wit. Don the Kraken Wit was doing the audio narration for the Gilly chapter, and Don Willie for stepping up in there and all the good old days. You know what I mean? It was the good old days back in when we did all that and stuff like that. And sorry about the audio back then. I didn't have good audio back then. I just worked with what I did and everything else and all that good stuff like that. We have Miss Man Jones says, can you please comment on my Melisandre theory? Please let me know what that Melisandre theory is, and I will comment on it. Just say it again. I didn't see that. When I was playing that video, I couldn't see. I didn't really look at the comment section. So if you could say it again, I will definitely do it. Yeah, I would say Don Willie and Don the Kraken Wit is definitely retired. Don Willie, he's back here and there. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Fernandez T, memory lane. It sure was. It was great times back then. You know what I mean? I've been doing this shit for mad years. What up to my brother Chris Fine in the building, rocking with us right now. I made up a lot of stuff. I don't want to really talk about dwelling yet. I made up a lot of theories. I didn't get credit for a lot of stuff. People just took it and used it and put Reddit posts on and whatever, you know what I mean? We know the reason why that went down like it did and everything else. You know, it is what it is. It's all in the past. We don't live in the past. We live in the present. We don't care about the future. We live in the present day. So it is what it is what it is. But, you know, if you really look, you can see that the dates don't lie. That's just the bottom line. You know what I mean? So definitely, I'm sitting there. I'm waiting for the Melisandre theory. That man said he posted that. I didn't get a chance to see. Let's take a look at that Melisandre theory. And then, as I said, when we're here on Wednesdays talking about theories, all my theories that I made up are up for grab. If people have a problem with them, I am here for anybody to say it or whatever. I'm for to say it and come at it, and you have the right to do so. That's what we put it out there for. Miss Man Jones, I have a theory that Melisandre is Val's sister. It fits in with the ice and fire theme of the story. Mel was born frail, so her family left her out for dead, but a red priest found her and took her in. All right, so Melisandre, Val's sister. I don't know. I think you need to give me more. What up, Regine the Great? What up, brother? What up? You need to give me more than that. All right. I would need more proof that shows that Melisandre is Val's sister. And that's what I would need. Or do we? You need to show me something. For me, is there Val's? Does there any hint of someone having red hair in Val's family at any time? Is there any hint that there's somewhere there was some type of red priest beyond the wall that would be able to pick the baby up? How would this red priest be able to get beyond the wall to get this person? Did they come? Where did the red priest pick up Val? Is the red priest beyond the wall and found her and brought her into slavery? We know that her name is Melanie from Lot 7, right? Melody. She remembers Lot 7 of being a slave and being a slave sold to a red priest at that time. I do believe when we read the book that it wasn't a red priest that found her, but she was sold to a red priest from that Lot 7. That's what the story leads us to believe. You would have to be able to say that someone took her from beyond the wall, put her in this place, Lot 7, and then she was bought by the priest. Who would that person be? How would that person get them beyond the wall and get them all the way over there? If you could tell me how that could happen, then I could talk to you about that being that theory being true. I think I think that it's, I think Val has a role to play. As for Melisandre, and also we have to look at this too. When we deal with Melisandre, she's 500 years old, right? Val's a couple of years old, so she's Val's older sister, right? If that's the case, so she would be Val's the oldest sister you could possibly. I mean, she'd be older than Val's mother. So she would be older than Val's mother, older than Val's grandmother. So I don't think it could be Val's sister because of that age factor. You know what I mean? Unless it's like a situation where it's like, don't be a menace while drinking your gin and juice in the hood, where his father was only like 2 years old, was 2 years younger than him. Shawn Wayne's father was younger than him. It would have to be a situation like that. I related to Val, I would go with more than Val's sister, just because the age to me doesn't work for it. But I'm not here to. No one can say that I'm right. It could be wrong. Miss Man Jones says, I also have another theory that we could see the deep ones in the Battle of Old Town. So I think that when you deal with the Battle of Old Town, that Euron was making sacrifices for something, right? He's putting all that blood of different people in the water, making a sacrifice for something. Now, a lot of people are going to think it's a kraken, that the kraken is going, he's sacrificing the kraken. But if you want to say he's making these sacrifices to bring deep ones out and to attack Old Town, I wouldn't tell you no. I wouldn't tell you that that's not going to happen. He's definitely making sacrifices for something to come out of that water. Something's coming out of the water. There's no doubt. It's either a crack. If it's a kraken, it's a kraken. Is it a deep one? It could be. It's one or the other. But something is definitely coming out of that water. He's doing those blood sacrifices for a reason. He's trying to stir up something. And I don't really think of it as blood sacrifice. I just think that it's so much blood. Whatever these creatures are that's underneath there are going to be attracted to all this blood. And that's what's going to make them rise in the end. So I would say that without a doubt. Miss Van Jones, I'm not saying, I see your criticism and I'll adjust my Mel theory. I'll seek book evidence, but I do believe Val and Mel are related, right? If he say, yeah, you would have to go with it. And I'm not here to in any way dismiss your theory. Don't think of it anything like that. I'm just giving you points that you would have to be able to explain to people to go forward with the theory. I would not say, sister, the age gap is too big. Related is better. That would be better. If you could prove that she was a wildling that has the same blood in her and she got pulled away and sold into slavery, that would be much more feasible than her being the sister. So I definitely do the research. It could definitely come. It definitely could happen. Super chat right here. Thank you, Nature Girl 121. Thank you, Tony, for the GOT recaps. Oh, I appreciate. I don't like showing old videos of me. In all honesty, I was very skinny back then, and I totally hate the way I look back then. I can't stand it, even when I think about it. But I was really skinny like that most of my life. But I can't stand the fact that skinny was terrible. Like that was a really tough time in my life. In all honesty, it was a really tough time surviving, just making it in my life at that time when I was making those videos and doing that. And so I really like, though I enjoy doing the content and I enjoy doing the videos and everything. When I think back of those times, like every day was such a struggle for me just to eat. And all honesty, I'm being honest with you. It was such a struggle just for me to get by every day. That it was just, and half of it had to do with me. It was me, as the lifestyle I was living. That it was just hard for me every day. So it just brings back memories of that. You know what I mean? But I have a lot of great memories. I had a great girlfriend at the time, and everything else. And so but it does bring back some. I come a long way from that. Let's just say that. Obviously, I think that the size of me can easily show that. Because I think I weighed like 130 pounds in that fucking video. I was tiny. I was so small. So tiny. Oh, I was tiny back then. I ain't tiny like that no more. Chino, thank you for the super chat. Says, what about the theory that Jon is Benjen and Lyanna's son? And that's why she ran off to Rhaegar and he went to the wall. All right, I will say this. Thank you for the super chat. And about this, it doesn't Benjen and Lyanna. So you're saying that Benjen slept with his sister. I just don't see that. I don't only time we see it, I think what makes Cersei and Jaime shocking is that it's not normal behavior. If we had Benjen sleeping with Lyanna and then we had the Targaryens doing what they do, it would seem like this happens all the time. I just don't see Benjen sleeping with Lyanna. I don't see Lyanna allowing Benjen in any way to come out there. I don't think that's why he would run off to the wall. The whole thing is that it has to be the book is called The Song of Ice and Fire. There has to be a Song of Ice and Fire. it's not. If Benjen was Lyanna, let's say Jon was Lyanna and Benjen's kid. What's the point of Rhaegar? Especially when we have the story of Rhaegar knowing he got her pregnant, knowing that's his kid. The reason why Arthur Dayne and them are defending it is because it's Rhaegar's kid. Rhaegar knows it's his kid and everything else. We have that full story. I think that is all it is. It would make no sense for Rhaegar to sacrifice his life for this, for incest Stark baby. He knows that's his kid. And this is the whole reason why he left the Kingsguard there to protect it, because he knew that baby had something to do with defeating the White Walkers, and that was the bigger plan more than anything in his life. So I 100%, I can't get behind this theory. I never heard about it. I'm happy I heard about it, but I'd never heard about this one before. And but no, I've never heard about Stark incest. And Benjen being the one who would do it. Now, if you said Brandon would do it, I don't think Brandon. Brandon. I was going to say maybe that's believable. No, it's not even believable if Brandon did it. Brandon wouldn't do that to his sister. I mean, he liked to have sex, but he wasn't trying to have sex with his baby sister. I don't think most people are. I hope not. I mean, I'm not trying to judge you or anything like that. I can't get behind this. I don't think that there's one shred of evidence in this whole book series that we have seen that would say that Benjen somehow was attracted to his sister, and his sister had the same feelings for him to the point they had sex so many times that he blew a load in his sister. I don't think we have anything that remotely points towards that. You know what I mean? So I would have to say nay to that. I'm sorry. I'll say nay. I have to say. I would have to say nay to that one and everything else like that. Yeah, Cam says, yeah, not a sound theory. Benjen didn't speak up, keeping Lyanna's secret. Goes to the war over guilt and knowledge of who Jon's parents were. That's a better theory. That he knew who Jon's parents were, so he went there not to speak. That's much better. Him having sex with his sister, no way. Nah, that's not. I don't think that's even possible. Oasis rules. Tony Teflon. What about the theory that Mel is from Hardhome and was taken by a slave by the Valyrians before the Doom and sold to the Red Priest? Now, that's more feasible. It's more, we have to. That's more feasible. I mean, what year did she's 500 years old, and it's. I'm not saying that Mel couldn't have been from beyond the wall. She could have been. But we just have to hear something that says, that someone took it from there. I think that information, if she really was a wildling in any way, to me, I think that would have came out. Maybe it will still come out, but I think that's something big enough to come out. From Hardhome and taken and sold in there, I don't know if we hear of a lot of Valyrians being beyond the wall. That would be my issue. I have to have some type of proof that the Valyrians were beyond the wall at some point. I would have to do that. I would have to hear that before I could go on that. This is not a theory, but a question. Do you think the dragon species is here to stay, or do you think they might go extinct again? I think they have to go. I think that in the end, magic has to go away, and if the dragons are connected to magic in any way, that they all have to go. Unfortunately, there's only 3 of them. It's not that they're gonna come back and start multiplying, and it's gonna be 1,000,000 dragons. The age of the dragons, it's over, and it's only here for the White Walkers' purpose. Could they come back again if the White Walkers were to come back again? The White Walkers will never come back again, because at the end of Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire, then what we see is that the Children of Forest will take the throne. Their plot will be done, so they'll never need the White Walkers again. So it won't be necessary. So I think that the dragons have to go. In the end, I don't think there'll be dragons. I mean, even if you want to say Drogon, like we've seen, Drogon just flies off. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Drogon just flies off and he doesn't die. He may do that. He may have that in the books that Drogon flies off. But if there's no other dragons for him to mate with, dragons, it's over. And so, unless there's something, with west of Westeros, we don't know what's west of Westeros. Could there be dragons west of Westeros? There could be dragons west of Westeros. There could be a whole kingdom of dragons over there west of Westeros. We have no idea. So it could be a situation like that over there west of Westeros. So if it's something like that, then I would definitely do it. Yeah, I definitely would see that's the case. That's the only way I could see it and everything. Is it stated how old Mel is? Yeah, Mel's 500 years old. So what happens, I think easily where it's stated, we can know that, is that the actress herself who played Melisandre said she was 500 years old. And when you're an actor, and she said this way before like the reveal of her being old. Like she said this like when she was like in season 2, season 3, when they showed her, she said that she was 500 years old. She said it back then. So you have to give actors direction for their character so that they know how to act in particular scenes and stuff. So that is why they had to tell her exactly you're 500 years old and all that. So I think that's what it truly is and stuff. But yeah, she's definitely, listen, you seen that old wrinkled ass. You seen it. She's barely able to get underneath the blanket, man. Barely able to get under that blanket. She could barely lift that blanket under her old ass. That part still makes me feel terrible. And Stannis was hitting it. Not only was Stannis hitting it, he was hitting it as hard as he could, that old lady. God damn it. He was hitting as hard as, that's a hell of a glamour she got. That's a hell of a glamour. I mean, that's like a real life Instagram filter. You know what I mean? Like that's a real filter. That's a real life filter. Like, you know what I mean? Like you see these like these chicks. I'm not trying to say anything bad about nobody. I'm saying some of these chicks, they be sending me pictures. You know what I'm saying? They be sending me like private pictures, some girls that I know. And it's like, shorty, you sending me these pictures with these filters. I just seen your ass the other day. I know what you look like. What do you think this filter picture? You think I'm going to forget about what you look like when I just seen you the other day? And now you send me this Instagram picture with this filter on it? I seen your ass the other day. I know the fuck you look like. Don't you can't pull that. She's got a real filter that works in real time. Like Melisandre's like on bots and shit, like real life shit that really works. That's what she's rolling with. That's what a glamour is a filter that works on real people. That's what she's got. She's got some real life filter, which is weird. You don't really see that ever. You know what I mean? And stuff. But hey, it is what it is and stuff like that. I'm not gonna keep you guys on. It's 10:30. I've been on here for 2 hours. Let's call it a day. We'll be back next week going over more theories. And if you have any theories you want me to go over, whatever. Who's the pink letter? Who wrote the pink letter? This, that. Any theory you could think of by anybody who made any channel or any Reddit post or anything else like that, let me know in the comment section. I'll get to it. I promise we can do it. Even if it takes 1 hour, and I invite anyone who came up with the theory to come on here. As always, I'll say it again. I'll say it. Any theory, as we did 2 of my theories on here tonight, that I ever came up with is entirely valid for anyone to discuss and debate about. And anytime, I'll play the video that I made back then when I made the theory up. And even if you want to say I didn't make the theory up, I'll show you the video. I'll show you the date and the timestamp. Prove me wrong. I guarantee you that I'm the one who made it up. That's just not going to say it unless that's the case. Even if I had to look at totally Teflon when I was a skinny little man. Good looking man, but I was skinny back then. Ain't skinny like that no more, you know. I ain't skinny like that no more, baby. All right, thank y'all for rocking with me for all this time. As always, if you like the way I do it, please stop. This will not be deleted. All right? This stream will be here, unlike the other ones, the After Dark one. If you like the way I do this, and Phil and Bridge, and they'll be back. Don't worry about it. Usual suspects will be back. And everything else, we'll be discussing these same topics and stuff like that when they have time and everything else. It just won't be me, so you won't be bored. But I will hold it down until they get ready. So if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this. Please spread this across the realm and also subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay